Well, howdy folks. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody is having a great evening. Well, we're going to attempt to review something here. Because you know we got the router, which my screen is upside down. This is my Bauer Trim Router, which you've seen in a previous video. And I was wanting this. This is a circle guide kit. Cuts small circles, big circles. Okay. It's Milescraft. It does 1.5 to 12 inch on the small one, and then it'll do 10 inch up to 52 inch on the large one, and then it's got something with finishing edges. All right. Well, you know, it says right here, video online, right there. So I went online, I went to look at it, and happened to look at what routers, you know, this thing actually works with. And it says it is not compatible with this. So that is to be seen still. Not to say that we can't make it work. But in the meantime, if it doesn't work, we've got this. This is a plunge router. It is not on the list of routers that it will not work on. I have had this thing for I don't even know how long. Never even been opened. Had it sitting over there in the back room. It's a plunge router. So I kind of need to do a review on this thing as well. Like I said, I don't even know how long I've had this thing. So anyway, that will be, if we can't get this thing to work with said Bauer router, then I'm hearing the dirt bikes out running today. A nice day out. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. And I was kind of leery about opening it up because, you know, I got this at Lowe's. I was looking at the one from Rock something, you know, whatever that, Rockler, that's it, Rockler.com. And they got one. Of course, it doesn't specifically state either that it does or does not fit on the Bauer. And so it's like, well, and that thing was like really long, and I was watching this other guy work with it, and he ended up having to drill some different holes in it to make smaller holes. And I mean, this thing looked every bit of like 2 feet long, something like that. Well, I didn't want something big like that, so, and it was I think $58 on Amazon. So I happened to be at Lowe's yesterday, and I was looking around at some of the different router bits, see if they had some spiral up and spiral down bits, which they did not have. And I stumbled upon this. So let's open it. I mean, we can see if it's going to fit on there. And worst case, if it doesn't, we can see if it's going to fit on the other one. And I'll just try not to mangle things. That way, if I got to take it back, I can take it back. Okay. That is a very big base plate. And this is for the large circles. This is for the small circles. And this must be the, this is the offset base. So it does say it fits some trim routers, just specifically not the Bauer Harbor Freight one. So I don't know. I have no clue how to install this thing. So let's get everything out of the box here. We'll get the box out of the way, and we will see if we can make heads or tails with this. Because I've never used one of these things. Got no clue how it even is supposed to work. So what we got in here is, it does say it comes with a bit, and it comes with a regular drill bit. Then it comes with, looks like straight bit. Let's see here. We'll open this package up. I need to cut some circles. Okay, so we got a drill bit right there. We'll stick that back in the bag. I don't know what these things are. Turn lock, something or other. We'll set that over there, set that over there. Some little screws, pack of 4 screws. I have no idea what that thing is. Looks like a wood screw. That is number 12. That is a centering. This is a centering pin. This is number 4. That's the small circle jig. Then we have a bit here, which is it just says router bit. Well, that's good to know. It looks like a straight bit. I'm guessing that's probably about a 1/4 inch straight bit. The instructions do not specifically state. So let's see here. Let's get to that. Assembling. Okay, assembling and centering the base plate. It says here that you need to remove the manufacturer's base plate from the router you intend to use with your circle guide kit. Okay, so we'll put this stuff here back in the box so we don't lose anything. And we've got to take this base plate off of the Harbor Freight one, which I need to, and I do have the attachment. It's an adapter that goes on the base plate for this. You know, it's got the kind of looks like this, but a lot smaller, and it's got 2 handles on it. It might help with cutting out letters and lettering and stuff. Not exactly sure, but it's like 35 bucks. Oh, by the way, this was like $49 at Lowe's, if I didn't mention that already. Okay, so we got the base plate off. Insert the appropriate end of the centering pin into the router collet. Okay, so we got that in there. And then remove the base plate from the circle guide head. That must be this doohickey right here. I have no idea how to remove this. Maybe, oh, okay, it just turns. Alright, so there are arrows on the top of this thing. You guys can see those little tiny black arrows. There's one right there. Okay, and then while holding the base plate with the recessed away from the router, lower the base plate over the centering pin onto the base of the router. Okay, I can guarantee these holes are probably not going to line up. That's why they're saying it doesn't fit. And then rotate the base plate until the correct mounting slots line up with the base mounting screws. A minimum of 2 holes are required to attach the base plate. Note, it may be necessary to enlarge one of the mounting slots to allow for correct centering and attachment of the base plate. Alright, so there are slots in here, and we have to get them to line up with at least 2 of these holes. So I'm rotating it around, see if we can. Okay, well, it says you have to have at least 2, but okay, well, I see what they're talking about. So but that doesn't line up. It doesn't center. I think that's what I'm kind of getting from this, that it's not going to center. that is not to say that we cannot drill our own holes. But I think the problem we're going to have here is getting it centered. Which, I mean, I can use this other plunge router. That's not a big deal. I was kind of just wanting to use this little trim router because it's what I got, you know, and I think it's just easier to handle. So we got one hole to line up there, and it looks like it's in the center. Let's see if we can get another hole to line up, or two holes to line up. So you have to bear with me, guys. This is new to me. Yeah, I really just don't think that's going to fit. Not with the holes the way they are on this base plate. I mean, it's close. It's close to one, but I would have to drill that out. And then I think this can be made to fit. I'm still moving it around. Well, it says you got to have a minimum of 2 holes. But I kind of got 2 holes lined up there. The other one, I mean, I could definitely kind of drill that out, but that doesn't look centered to me. So okay, it says something about a bushing. Oh, okay, one of these bushings here. Remove the base plate and install the provided bushing into the base plate. Okay, now that's kind of making some sense there. So I'm guessing this has to go into this slot here. Somehow. Doesn't. Okay. So it does show it going up. Okay. And then that goes over the centering thing. Well, that helps with centering it. Okay, so I can enlarge one of these holes, and it says you may have to do that. It says right here, it may be necessary to enlarge one of the mounting hole slots to allow for correct centering and attachment of the base plate. Okay, so I could drill this one here out. This one here is lined up. This one's off a little bit. We'll see if we can get any others to line up. And it looks like that would be the most I would actually even be able to get is 2. Well, let's see here. Oh, and I bet you they're using their mounting screws, which definitely are a lot bigger than these. So let's just put 2 of ours back in. It says you just need 2. See if I can do this without even drilling a hole in it. And also too, well, I guess we'll do an unboxing video of the other one. Okay, well, you know, that's in there. So, yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. It doesn't fit the Bauer. So, and it says remove the bushing and centering pin. Okay, so we got that out. We got that out. And then this should go on here somehow. Yeah, it snaps into place. Okay, so what am I missing here, guys? I mean, if we take the included bit, I don't know what our... The other problem with this is the depth of cut may not be deep enough with this. So let's put our bit down in here. That's not all the way down, but that would definitely allow me, because let me get something to measure with, and I need a flat edge. I'm kind of curious to see what depth we got. Whoa! That thing just slid right off there. Way to go, Greg. Okay, so that's all the way down. We're going to set that there. We don't have the bit all the way down, but that is almost 7/8. I could actually raise this bit up to 7/8. And most of the stuff I'm going to cut is 3/4 of an inch. So that may indeed work just fine for our purposes. And great, now I gotta fix my frickin' thingamajiggy. Okay, so we know that fits on there. And then we're gonna go ahead and raise it up. So, and then I'm guessing this thing right here is going to go into here. Yes, it does. Alright, so we've got that. And what do the other instructions say? The mouth full of sawdust. Okay, and then we got the large one, which I'm not worried about right now. Okay, so for a small one, you can make cuts from 1.5 inch to 12 inches in diameter with the smaller thing. Attach the small circle jig to the circle guide head, which we've done. Get you down there so you can see what I'm doing. We've got that. Be sure the small circle slide is pointing towards the pivot hole on the small circle jig. Okay, so that thing there locks, must lock that. Okay, so slide that in, and then ensure the jig is fully inserted in the circle guide head track and the flange bolt is in the track on top of the slide. Securely tighten the knob on the circle guide head, image 1B. So I'm guessing it's that one. And then, I don't know what that one does. Oh, okay. So that moves out. Alright, so then, do I have this backwards? I think I may have this backwards. No. Or yes. Okay. So, okay, I see. This hole right here where my finger is, that does go in. To the slot here. This slot slides right into it. So how do you well, it slid in there before. It's not sliding in there now. Great. Is it like a T-slot? Yeah, it's like a kind of like a, it's like a T-slot. Okay, so we got that back in, and that is tightened down. So then you mark the center of your circle, and then mark at least one point on your circle diameter, image 2, which is right down here. So we got that in. We got that in. And then using the provided drill bit, pre-drill a hole for the pivot screw on your center point. Using the center pivot hole on your small circle jig, screw the jig to your workpiece. Okay, so, alright, so at what point do, okay, so, I'm guessing, it says, with the base plate already attached to your router, line up all 3 arrows on the base plate with the arrows on the circle guide head. Drop the base plate in the desired position and turn it clockwise. We've locked it. Now we've set up for that. The scale on the small circle jig shows the diameter of the circle to be cut when using a 1/4 inch router bit. So, cutting a circle using the eye example, wherever the eye example is. Okay, so there is a mark on this plate right here for the I is the inside circle and the O is the outside circle. Well, that makes sense. Okay, so if you set the I indicator on the 2-inch mark on the scale, you will cut a disc in your workpiece with an inside diameter of 15 inches. Huh? What? Okay. So, when your small circle slide is set to your desired diameter, your router bit should be positioned on the inside of the mark you made for your diameter, but be sure it is still touching your mark, and then tighten the knob to secure the selected diameter. Set the depth of your router bit and you are now ready to make your first pass. Be sure to make one complete pass on your circle before adjusting depth again. Each pass should be a 1/4 inch to 5/16 inch deep. Okay, so if we want, I'm kind of confused, which that doesn't take much. So we want if you set the I indicator on the 2-inch mark on the scale, so we're set on the 2-inch mark, and how are you okay, so I guess it's really not making a whole lot of sense, because if the I is on the 2-inch mark on the scale, you will cut a disc in your workpiece with an inside diameter of 15 inches. See images 6A and B. Okay. So how the heck are you supposed to cut a 1.5 inch like it states you can do? Well, and we're not going to be able to test this yet because I don't have anything set up in here to actually test it. I just wanted to see if we were going to be able to hook it up. So the offset base, which is this, that's used for routing edges and edge profiles. So we're not even concerned with that at the moment. So back to this outside circle. So cutting a circle using the O example, if you set the O indicator on the 2-inch mark of the scale, you will cut a hole in your workpiece with an outside diameter of 15 inches. We done read that. So we want to, excuse me, we want to do inside circles. So if I set it to 2 inches on the inside, it's going to be a 15-inch diameter. If I set it to 2 on the O, it'll be a 15-inch outside diameter. All right, so all right, guys. Well, I'm going to have to look at their website because it states clearly on the box that the small circle cuts from 1.5 to 12 inches. So if we're moving, this is the scale down here, all right, and if we're moving, and it only goes in so far, that's it. And if we were to take this screw down here and screw it into the table, that, or unless these instructions are wrong, and setting it to 2 is not going to cut a 15-inch circle. That doesn't make any sense. But I guess I'm going to have to excuse me, get some plywood, some scrap plywood, and set this up on there and see what indeed, you know, how this scale reflects on the inside, on the I and the O, this I and O right here, how that's going to work. So let me, I mean, I'm not going to take it back anyway. I will, you have to keep these screws, which I actually need to measure these anyway, and go to Lowe's and get some in case I want to use a different plate. But I need to get something set up and screwed down so we can actually test this. So let me get some crap set up, and I'll be back. Okay. I think the instructions are wrong about the diameter of the hole by setting it on 2, but I can see why they want you to use a plunge router because let me unlock this. Okay, the way this works is this is going to have to go into these slots. Okay, and lock it into place. Alright, so you want your router to kind of sit on here. So you can't adjust your depth, alright, without using a plunge router. So what you're going to have to do is, if you're using one of these little trim routers, is hit it, put your bit onto the wood, and then loosen it up and start drilling down a little bit, and then probably stop, you know, to get your base locked in, and then you can spin it. But what I did, and I'll show you guys. All right, I've got this thing set on 2 for inside, so let's go ahead and change this to a 3-inch. I'm going to set it on the 3, and we're going to put, I've already drilled a hole in the center. We're going to put our thing back on here, snap it into place, and go ahead and turn it on This is going to be kind of the tricky part because this thing doesn't really, it doesn't give much. But I mean, I guess I could do it a little bit. Okay, so I've got it raised up. So let's turn the router on and get it down in the hole. So you have your hole cut. Okay, now, see, I don't even know if I went through. Did I go through this thing? I think I did. This board is not thick at all, so let's go ahead and release it out of here. Set that over there. We'll take our screw out of the center. Yeah, I did. I cut down into that board below it, but who cares? I didn't quite go all the way through it, but close enough. Okay, so the instructions are wrong with that. I had the guide set on 3, and okay, so this is actually reading 2 1/4, and the eye is sitting on, so the actual outside diameter of this is 2 1/4. The eye is sitting on 2 1/2, and the O is sitting on 3. So it is definitely off, because this is on 2 1/4, so it should have either been 2 1/2 or 3. So now this hole here that I cut out of this plate is 2 3/4, just shy of 2 3/4. So we definitely have a dilemma there, because what is marked on this scale is not what it is actually cutting out. So, I say because if we want a 3-inch hole, and this is on 2 1/4, you know, so we need to go another 3/4 of an inch. So if I set the O to 3 3/4, would it then cut a 3-inch square? You know, of course, my goal is, you know, I want to do 12-inch because, you know, I want to make a clock. Of course, I can't use this wood because this wood is exactly just a hair under 12 inches. You know, but kind of get you the idea of, you know, how this thing is supposed to work. So you have to write notes that setting it on 3 on an outside circle, you're going to get 2 1/4, unless I'm doing something wrong, which, you know, wouldn't be surprised. But let's yeah, so we can't go down too far because, well, I mean, I don't care about the wood underneath it. But let's screw this thing down again and see if we can get how we're going to get a 3-inch hole. I mean, it does spin freely, so I like that. I just don't like how it's measuring. But we'll go ahead and line our holes back up. We are locked into place. We're going to set our jig on outside to 3 3/4. And maybe that thing slid on me. Maybe I didn't have both tightened down right. Well, we're about to find out, guys. So let's go ahead and raise the base plate up a little bit. Take it out. And see what this got us. Okay, so we were set on 3 3/4, and we have an exact 3-inch hole. So if you see there, try to get my tape measure on here, it is at 3 inches. And the guide was indeed, I don't want to lose my little screw there. The guide was indeed set on, let's get you over here. Hopefully that's showing up right. Where's my finger at? Where's my fat little finger? Right. Okay, right here. Okay, and you'll see it is on 3 3/4. Okay, well, I mean, I can work with that. That's not that big of a deal, but I can definitely see where the plunge router comes into play with cutting your holes out, but it cut fine. Got a nice circle. You know, I didn't, I just put the screw through it, you know, which you'd have to, that's the one downside to this, is you're going to have a hole right in the center of what you're cutting, which in my case probably is not a bad idea because I'm going to have a clock face going through this hole anyway, so that'll be covered up. But I guess, you know, if you didn't want that, you could just fill it with some, you know, sawdust and wood glue mixed together to fill that hole. But okay, so that is a plus, and I mean, other than I'm kind of disappointed that the scale is off, but I will look into that too because the instructions are clearly wrong, and it states on here that you put your bit in. So if you're doing an inside circle or an outside circle, it doesn't matter, you know, and it says right in the instructions here that cutting a circle using the O example, if you set the O indicator on the 2-inch mark on this scale right down here, you will cut a hole in your workpiece with an outside diameter of 15 inches. That's exactly what it states right there in those instructions, if you guys can read those. So clearly these instructions are wrong, and clearly the guide scale is wrong. So what I'll have to do is, now that I know that it's 3/4 of an inch off, okay, so if I want a 12-inch hole, I'm going to have to set it to, and is that going to work? Because a 3-inch hole I had to set to 3 3/4. Is this thing going to go? See, it only goes to 12.5. So is this small scale one actually going to cut a 12-inch round board or circle, since it only goes to 12.5? I guess, let's see here, can we move this thing out a little bit, out of this track? you can. Okay, so that'll be the next test. I got to see if I can round up a 13-inch wide piece of wood and then cut it on the 12.5-inch mark and see what size circle that yields us. And then if that doesn't work, you know, if we know that is 12.5, we need to go another 1/4 inch. So would taking it out of this slot here, a 1/4 inch, give us that additional 1/4 inch if the scale is indeed wrong? That's the question. All right, so I'm going to leave this as it is, guys. I got to round up a piece of 13-inch wide piece of wood so we can test this theory, and we'll come back to it. So be back in a flash. Okay, guys, got me a piece of that's about 13-inch wide MDF, and I've got it. Yeah, it's centered, is close enough. I've got the inside. It is sitting on 12. The I and the O down here is setting on 12.5. So it's gonna make some noise here, and I'm gonna have to tip this up and lower my blade down a bit, and then make a circle, and then do that again. So let's try this. Let's raise it up, and we're gonna go down a little bit. Turn it on and make some noise. Well, is that a fine howdy do, or what? A damn bit came up. Whoa. And it must have come loose, because this sank down quite a bit. Well, isn't that just dandy? I know I had this thing tightened up. Did it come loose? Let's get the wrenches here. Yeah, maybe came loose in there, guys. I was saying, shouldn't have been able to break a 1/4 inch bit. That's all right. So we got one hole deeper than the other. That's what we're going for anyway, right? Get this lined up back in here. Minor setback. Okay. We got a hole down here. I'm gonna raise that, lower that down to there. And it looks like this is off now. What the hell? How is this off? I didn't unscrew it. Nasty. Okay, so maybe I didn't have, maybe these arrows had something to do with that. Maybe I didn't have it in the same spot. Yeah, that's what it was. So that's another note to self, guys. If you have to take it off and adjust it, make sure you're using the same arrows as you did when you first started to cut it. All right, so I'm going to move it over to this hole over here and lower this bit down a bit. Bit down a bit, get that? All right, we'll try this again. since we've got a hole deeper down over here, we'll go ahead and lower it down in that hole a little bit. Fire it back up. Probably ought to clamp my workpiece down. All right, so we're going to loosen this up. Actually, we'll hold that in place there. Oh, probably went down a little too far on that one. All right, let's go down. Get the broom. Clean out that hole a little bit. I'm not quite through it yet. And put me a mask on. That shit's nasty. Oh, great. All right, got a mask on. So let's lower that down a little bit more. We're getting there. Nothing's moved. Okay, let's lift it up a little bit. I need to go down just a little bit more. I may be at the limit of that bit. Now let's see. I don't think it's going to go down anymore, guys. Yeah, nope. Okay, so let's we need to raise that bit up a bit. I ain't got much more to go. And make sure we get our arrows lined back up right. I think that'll do it. I don't think it's snapped in there. We go. Surely we don't have that much more to go. I think one more cut, and that'll do it. Stupid straps. Well, that's going to have to work because this bit, I need to raise it up more, but that'll be close enough. Take that mask off, take our plate off, and we'll see what we're left with. Let's set this over here. Nah, it didn't have much to go, a smidge. Okay, so survey says this is 12, excuse me, 12 3/4. So, yeah, no, sorry, 11 3/4. All right, so back to our thing over here. We had it set to 12. All right, so what that's telling me, I mean, I can deal with 11 3/4. It ain't got to be exactly 12, but the other test is going to be now is to take and I gotta raise my router bit up in here a bit more. So I got the depth that I need, which was pretty close, but I just need to go a smidge more. However, this scale is wrong, and that's huge. I mean, I can get a hold of the company, sure. You know, I mean, I paid for this thing, but this scale is wrong. So now what we're going to have to do is what I had thought earlier is take this and loosen this up and add, you know, pull this back, you know, 1/4 of an inch, like so, and then let's measure that. So that's an 1/8. So that's right on 1/4 of an inch right there. So you see what I did? I took this gap here and increased this gap 1/4 of an inch to account for this scale being wrong. Because like I said, the I was on 12 and the O was on 12.5, which it's still sitting on now, but I've raised this out 1/4 of an inch, which funny how that router bit is a 1/4 inch bit. So I could technically have just laid that bit right inside here, but according to the instructions, this scale is based on a 1/4 inch bit. So that to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You know, I can clean that, I can sand that up and still use this for something. I mean, it's pretty close in size, but yeah, it's definitely off. So we're gonna have to move everything. I'm gonna have to get my wet and dry out and suck all this stuff up. All right, so bear with me. I'll be back. All right, guys. I know this was seconds for you, but it's like been a day and a half for me. It's tied up with other things. So here's what I did. Okay, and you know, in our previous segment there, we were talking about this thing being 1/4 off. Okay, so I just took a 1/4 inch bit, you know, stuck it in the two where the two sections meet. Okay, because this thing here joins with this plate down here. So I put a 1/4 inch, this is a straight bit, into there to measure out 1/4. I've got the scale on the outside down here. It's sitting on 12. So we're going to test this and see if my thinking is right. I reread over the instructions, which I pointed out previously that they said if you set it on 2, you're going to have a 15-inch hole, which made absolutely no sense. And it states that for the long one, the short one, whatever. So that's obviously wrong. And I think this scale is wrong, but they state in here that this scale is based upon a 1/4 inch bit, which is what, you know, this Milescraft thing ships with. So I reread over that thing several times thinking maybe I just overlooked something, maybe I'm not understanding something right, but no, that is what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my mask because this thing kicks up so much dust, and I'll probably turn it off between passes. I do have an upcut and a downcut bit coming, which will help when using this thing, especially upcut, because you're cutting out a hole, you know, and it doesn't really matter. And obviously a plunge router is definitely going to work better with this, because you need to, using this handheld one, you have to lift up the plastic here to lower your bit down so you can get a cut through this 3/4 inch wood. Also too, with that said, what was I going to say? Yeah, the plunge router would definitely work better. So, oh, but this is a Bauer, okay, you know, which we did on the other review of this Bauer thing. And it states in the, if you go online to Milescraft, and it specifically states that this thing does not fit this router. Well, as you can see, you know, in our first attempt at cutting this circle, you know, you can indeed, it says as long as you get 2 holes in, you're good. And so we got 2 holes in. So we know this will work with the Bauer router. So disregard that, and obviously disregard some of the other instructions. And I still haven't reached out to these people. I don't even know if it'd be worth my time and effort, but you know, we're gonna attempt to cut out another circle, and well, we'll make our first pass here and see then if we can measure and kind of gauge if we're right on 12 inches or what. So let me put my mask on, and we'll get to making a circle. I can talk to you through my mask, but it's going to be quite muffled. And then once I fire this thing up, you can't even hear me. All right. Nope, supposed to plug it in. That should be good. We'll suck our dust up here real quick. We'll go ahead and take this out of here. Okay, we're going to loosen this up so we can pull it back and take our screw out, and then get my tape measure and we will measure it. Now, it'd be nice if they sent, instead of a straight bit, they sent an upcut bit, because the upcut bit will take all this stuff, instead of sitting here, especially when you're cutting MDF, which is nasty, an upcut bit will take all those shavings and push them out of the hole for you. Excuse me, instead of sitting there having to use a vacuum. All right, and no, I know I didn't go all the way down through, but that's close enough. Okay, so now let's measure. Look at that. We are exactly on 12 inches. All right, so that answers that question, guys. My final thoughts on this before I wrap this up. Does this thing work good? Yes, it does. All right, I am very satisfied with it, considering the Rockler one on Amazon or from Rockler was approximately $10 more expensive, and it was a lot bigger. And when I was watching another guy use it, he had to end up drilling a hole in the plate so he could make smaller circles. This thing states it'll do down to 1.5 up to 12 with the small jig, and then 13 to 52 inches with the big one, which I don't have any plans for the big one right now, so I just wanted to cut out small circles, and this is going to definitely do the trick. So just remember, if you get one of these right here where my finger is, you're going to want to stick a 1/4 inch bit into here, push them together, tighten this knob down here, right here, and that way when you're looking at this scale down here, you are reading what it is actually stating. So when I cut that hole, I had it set right there. I had it set on 12 inches. Outer, on the O for outer. So, and it cut a perfect 12-inch circle. So, pretty happy with that. And, yeah, I still may email them. I don't know if it's really worth bothering. I mean, if you guys catch this or somebody else catches this and they get one of these things, then you'll know what to do. Instead of being disappointed when you make your first cut and you're 1/4 inch off of what your target, diameter was. So anyway, that's it, guys. That's the Milescraft circle jig. I don't know, it's got some other doohickey over there. I don't know exactly what it's for, but now I can take my piece here and sand the edges with a little 80, 120, whatever, clean this up, drill me a hole through the center. Maybe I'll round over the edge a little bit, and then do whatever I'm going to do to make a clock. Not if it ain't gonna sit outside, because this is MDF and you don't ever want to get MDF wet. That would be a very bad mistake. But anyway, that works. So hopefully you guys got something out of this tool review. And then once I get the spiral bit, the upcut, I did order an upcut and a downcut. Maybe I'll do another video showing how those work with getting, because this is just this bit on here, this is just a straight bit, 1/4 inch straight bit. Well, I mean, it's fine for, like doing letters and stuff like that. But when you're cutting out these circles like that, you definitely want something that's going to take those shavings and push them up out of the hole as you're spinning this around. I mean, granted, if you've got a dust collection system set up for your whichever router you're using, that might help. I do not have that for the Bauer. I don't even know if they make it for the Bauer. But stay tuned for a review on this. Let me grab it. It's still sitting over here on the floor. This here plunge router. I do not know if it has a dust collection port yet. I still haven't even taken it out of the box. But this would definitely work a little bit better. I mean, as you can see, I didn't have too many issues with the Bauer. All you got to do is tip it up, loosen your lower bracket, tip it up a little bit, let the blade, you know, the bit drop down about 1/4 of an inch. Tighten it back up, drop it, and you go around. It's no big deal. And, you know, for ease of use, I haven't used this thing yet, but that thing's handheld. The little Bauer is handheld, so it's really easy to operate, and it's super light. So, and once again, you know, it does fit the Bauer, which they specifically stated it does not fit the Bauer, but it does. You know, here's your proof right there. So, and you've seen me cut it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of it. Give me a like, give me a subscribe. You know, the routine, I haven't stated that in forever, in a long time, but I'd like to, you know, slowly build my customer base up a little bit more and do things outside of the realm of strictly motorcycles, which I'll have still plenty of that because I've got my TS120 or TC125 I'm still got to get off my butt and work on, and I just painted the YL2 100, so I got more stuff coming on that. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Have a good one.